The last race of the weekend is finally here. KartSport North America Pro IAME Senior, and we are not going to get the green on the first try by. Brandon Lemke and Braden Eves, the front row. Brandon Jarsocrak, Alexander Kardashian, row number 2 for the 20-lap final. Row number 3 will have Zach Holden and Ryan Raffa. Row number 4, Fabian Lons and Jacob Havelo. Row 5, Michael Geringer and David Kalb Jr. We saw some of the best racing action all weekend in their main event yesterday. We'll see what they can put on today. The fastest division, some of the best drivers, not only from the East Coast, but from around the country, coming here to Castle Motorsports Park to compete for the WKA Manufacturers Cup Series victory in the KartSport North America Pro IAME Senior Division. And we're set to let them loose one more time. Our final race of the 2017 Team Empower Nationals weekend for the WKA Manufacturers Cup Series third round. We are looking for the green. We will get it. Green flag to turn number 1. Everyone's going to get 2 by 2 in single file pretty quickly. A clean start so far, except for 2 drivers near the back. I believe that might be just Daniel Berry getting together with Roberto Perez. They're still going though, and Braden Eves able to slot through to the lead. So Braden Eves, your leader by 2 kart lengths, back to Brandon Lemke. Alexander Kardashian kind of forced his way to 3rd. Brandon Jarsocrak to 4th. Ryan Raffa's gone into 5th. Zach Holden to 6th. A big line of karts there in the top 5, and then even farther back from Holden all the way to the end of the line, maybe being Michael Geringer. No, even farther than him. That's going to be Jake Venberg's Merlin, trailing around 12th or 13th. Down the front straightaway, Braden Eves with a big head of steam from Brandon Lemke. He'll lead them to turns 1 and 2. Kardashian running right behind them. Brandon Jarsocrak a little bit lower on pressures, maybe. He's slipped a couple karts back from the top 3, but not too far back whatsoever. Ryan Raffa with a good start, but fading quickly here as Zach Holden starts to get some momentum going. And now Brandon Lemke commands the lead. A good move from turn 4 to turn number 6, setting it all up and ending it halfway through the bus stop. Lemke, the leader over Braden Eves, and Alexander Kardashian now goes to work on the number 41 machine. Into turn number 11, Kardashian is going to throw it to the inside. He'll get on through and move AMK Race Products to 1st and 2nd. Brandon Lemke P1, Alexander Kardashian P2, Braden Eves, Brandon Jarsocrak, Ryan Raffa, Zach Holden, and Fabian Lons the top 7. A big gap back to AJ Myers and Jacob Havelo battling for 8th as Myers tries to work his way forward on the TB kart. David Kalb Jr. now commands the 8th spot. Jacob Havelo to 9th. Michael Geringer runs in 10th, I believe. Abby McLaughlin was up there for a moment, now been shuffled back, and she runs behind Jake Venberg, 11th and 12th for the 2 drivers. Or 12th and 13th as Michael Geringer runs 11th. Jacob Havelo rounds out the top 10. Now Lemke and Kardashian have Eves and Jarsocrak back on their bumper again. Zach Holden is right there, and there goes Eves with a good move in turn number 6. He'll take over 2nd. Alexander Kardashian back to 3rd. Brandon Jarsocrak, Zach Holden still right there. Ryan Raffa, Fabian Lons, a 7-kart lead group to begin the final in Pro IAME Senior. Some fantastic racing action, and Brandon Lemke leads the way down to the scoreboard hairpin. Zach Holden with a good late move on Brandon Jarsocrak into the scoreboard turn, and that will take over the 4th spot. Jarsocrak down to 5th now as Holden begins his charge forward. A last-minute entry today here to run just for fun on Sunday only. Zach Holden in the Comet Racing Team Tony Kart, 4th at the moment. Also changing the lead again. Braden Eves goes to the top spot. Alexander Kardashian follows. Brandon Lemke down to 3rd. Brandon Jarsocrak looked to go back by Holden into turn number 1, but Holden shut the door, and so Jarsocrak could not get through. Fabian Lons was able to work her way by Ryan Raffa. She's up to 6 now, the South African lady running in the position number 6, just ahead of Raffa. 3 karts back from the top 5, but pretty close. And again, she was one of the fastest drivers yesterday. One driver who was really quick yesterday, who's struggling today, or I'm not even seeing him on the order today, is Garrett Johnston in the 125. Johnston is running here. He's running right behind Jake Venberg. Yes, so 13th for Garrett Johnston, and climbing forward, he's just worked his way past Abby McLaughlin in the number 56 Top Kart. Now down the front stretch with Eves at the helm. Alexander Kardashian's going to go back by with his teammate Lemke pushing him. Alexander Kardashian, Brandon Lemke first and second. Braden Eves third. Zach Holden fourth. Brandon Jarsocrak fifth. A low gap to Fabian Lons and a bigger gap back to Ryan Raffa. AJ Myers is at the front of the mid-pack, just ahead of David Kalb Jr. and Michael Geringer as they go down to turn number 5. Myers just been struggling a little bit this weekend with the engine, and unfortunately it sidelined him in the heat yesterday. Worked his way forward in heat number 2 and then kind of stalled out in the final, and today still not really having that thing up to snuff. We're seeing if he can get a little bit higher than 8th, but I don't know if it will happen without any crashes out of your lead group of 7. Brandon Jarsocrak still not really coming in just yet in the Praga, as Braden Eves now has been shuffled back behind Zach Holden. Holden P3, Eves P4. Alexander Kardashian leads the way here in Newcastle. Braden Eves right back on the bumper of Holden through the I-70 corner. Down the front straightaway, Lemke trying to work with Kardashian. Eves tucked out a line for a second and pulled back in right behind Holden over to turns 1 and 2. Zach Holden on his way forward here in the Pro IAME Senior Final with 5 laps completed so far of the main event. He's P3, 2 kart lengths back from Brandon Lemke, who is trying to push Alexander Kardashian away from the lead crew. One driver falling back from that lead group still is Ryan Raffa. He's comfortably ahead of his TB Kart USA teammate AJ Myers. Both drivers under the checkered motorsports banner again this weekend and for the 2017 Manufacturers Cup Series season. A big gap back to Myers as he goes to work on the carburetor for his engine, while Michael Geringer and Jacob Habel work their way by David Kalb Jr. halfway through this lap. Down the front stretch now, Eves again to the inside of Holden. Holden gonna shut the door and he'll send Eves onto the curbing. Zach Holden, while he's kind of stalled out in third, not really made up enough time to battle for the leader second. Eves tried to go by, Jarsocrak tried to go by, and Holden shut the door on both drivers now here in the final. Thomas Schrage to the tech area, please. Thomas Schrage to the tech area. 7 laps complete, this time by 13 laps to go. Alexander Kardashian and Brandon Lemke still lead, and Braden Eves now with a late move on Zach Holden into the I-70 hairpin, finally gets by for third. Brandon Jarsocrak probably going to look for a move back by, down to turn 1 as the 3 go bumper to bumper into the first turns on the racetrack. Alexander Kardashian and Brandon Lemke trying to work together to get away from the field. Zach Holden definitely held up Brandon Jarsocrak and Braden Eves just a little bit. We'll see if he can find some speed again here as we get towards the halfway point in the final. Thomas Schrage once again needs to report over to the tech area as soon as possible. Thomas Schrage to report to the tech area as soon as possible. Over to the I-70 corner once again, this time by 8 laps complete, 12 laps to go. Alexander Kardashian and Brandon Lemke still show the way. A 2 kart length gap back to Braden Eves in third, and another 2 kart lengths back to Brandon Jarsocrak, who's just now worked his way by Holden. Now, pass for the lead. Brandon Lemke goes to the top spot and Alexander Kardashian. Lemke back to the top spot once again, and he'll lead them through turn number 4. Fabian Lons remains right on the bumper of the leaders in 6th at the moment. The last kart in the group up front. It is Lemke, Kardashian, Eves, Jarsocrak, Holden, and Lons, with a gap back to Ryan Raffa. Then the next crew's led by Jacob Havelow. He battles right now with Garrett Johnston, then AJ Myers, then it'll be Abby McLaughlin, Jake Venberg, Michael Geringer, David Kalb Jr., all hovering near the top 10. Up front, Lemke still leads over Kardashian, who is all over his bumper, as is Braden Eves. They all sort of bunch up now behind the 0-1. Down the front straightaway, Brandon Lemke still the leader over Alexander Kardashian, but Braden Eves right there, Brandon Jarsocrak right there also. Zach Holden still pretty close to the leaders, but he's not really had the speed or the horsepower to be able to try and challenge. Whatever the issue is, just maybe a half-tenth to a tenth off that extra bit of pace to really throw some aggressive moves to get up to the top spot. Your leader, Brandon Lemke, has a kart-length cushion back to Alexander Kardashian as they round the cell tower turn. A fantastic job here for the young lady again from South Africa, Fabian Lons, the Verde Speed Resources Patrick Karting Tony Kart driver. Only 2 karts back from Zach Holden. All 5 drivers here have driven New Castle Motorsports Park countless times. This is her first trip to the circuit, and she was running lap times equal to that of the leaders alone yesterday. Today, she's in the lead group after being able to avoid some of the crashes in heats in what was the heat racing yesterday and what has turned into the pre-final today. Down the front stretch, Lemke with Kardashian right behind him has kept Eves and everyone in tow. Jarsocrak, not the best run onto the front stretch, not too much of an improvement overall. Oh, what a move there by Braden Eves over in turn number 3. He throws it to the inside and the right-hander in front of the grid on Kardashian. Now Kardashian loses another spot to Jarsocrak in turn 4. Another one in turn number 5 to Zach Holden. Now Lons onto the bumper, and they've split up the AMK Race Products Top Kart drivers and now can focus on one at a time. There goes one, although Kardashian with a good move to get back by Holden over into the cell tower hairpin. Now it is a deja vu moment for Brandon Lemke. Yesterday, at the end of the final, Braden Eves and Brandon Jarsocrak were running him down. Now, once again, he has to deal with it. Lemke by 3 kart lengths over Braden Eves. 2 kart lengths back to Brandon Jarsocrak as they climb the hill to turn 16. Something must have happened to Zach Holden over in the back section. Indeed, Zach Holden with a mechanical failure coming out of the I-70 corner. And that will be the Comet Racing Team driver end to his day. A solid run here in the final. He was up as high as a 3rd and now finds himself on the sidelines watching the last 8.5 laps of the main event. An unfortunate end here as he was battling with Alexander Kardashian. It really hurt Fabian Lons the most. She is now outside of the draft at the top 4. So just 4 karts together for the lead. And we'll see Braden Eves and Brandon Jarsocrak start to hook up now as Jarsocrak pulls up to the bumper of the Cosmic driver. He's still just a touch closer than what he was last time by, but plenty of time to settle this however they would like, because there's still 8 laps remaining here, and Jarsocrak wants to settle it with him in second. A good move on Eves in the I-70 corner, moves Brandon Jarsocrak to P2, only about 2 karts back from Lemke. So Brandon Lemke still leads. Brandon Jarsocrak second, Braden Eves third, Alexander Kardashian fourth, and then Fabian Lons 1.5 seconds back from Kardashian in the number 96. Into the bus stop now, through the chicane, the right-hander, turn 6 and turn number 7. Into the cell tower hairpin, turn number 8, Brandon Lemke has been putting together lap times within a tenth of his best last time by. The quickest driver, though, Alexander Karnashian getting a fantastic run to the end of the straightaway, even up to the bumper of Braden Eves and Brandon Jarsocrak. Now as the trio sets their sights again on Lemke, this time with Jarsocrak leading it. He's coming in very late as KartSport seems to have set his cart up to do so. And it's only 2 kart lengths now for Lemke back to the field. Make that just a kart length and a half. Brandon Jarsocrak finding the speed right when it counts the most. 7 laps to go, 13 complete. 1 kart length back from Brandon Lemke to Brandon Jarsocrak. Braden Eves, after getting passed by the 108 Praga driver, still is right on his tail every single corner. Eves is no more than a half kart length back, even down the straightaway to turn number 5. Lemke by about a kart length and a half right now still holds the lead. Jarsocrak not gaining all too much as they go to the cell tower turn again. Beyond your top 5, Ryan Raffa still holds on to 6 with a 4.2 second buffer back to Garrett Johnston in 7th. 8th is going to be AJ Myers. 9th, Jacob Havelow. 10th, Abby McLaughlin. 11th, David Kalb Jr. 12th, Michael Geringer. Down the back straightaway towards turn 16, Jarsocrak half a kart back now from Lemke. And out of the final turn, Brandon Jarsocrak with a good run. He will be able to get up to the bumper by the end of the straightaway. 6 laps to go. Here comes Jarsocrak with a little love tap to Lemke into the braking zone. In yesterday's main event, Brandon Lemke got behind Jarsocrak early on and moved him out of the way over in turn number 5, entering the bus stop after the scale tower 90 degree left-hander. Jarsocrak waited and paid him back with a nice little bump and run of his own on the final lap to take over the lead. And from that point, Jarsocrak was able to run with the help of a dive by Braden Eves to move himself to 2nd and keep Lemke from getting back to him and to go on to win. That was Brandon's only 3rd win in the Manufacturers Cup Series aboard the Praga chassis. And now he's looking for win number 4 in the WKA. 1 kart length back from Brandon Lemke as the sun starts to come back out and peek through the clouds here in Newcastle. Lemke has a 1 kart length lead, coming to see 5 laps to go this time by. Into turn number 1, Brandon Jarsocrak had a look to the inside of Brandon Lemke. No move there. Braden Eves was fully set to follow him through, but Jarsocrak thought better of it. 4 or less than 5 laps to go now. 4 laps next time by. Brandon Lemke continues to lead. 1 kart length ahead of Brandon Jarsocrak to turn number 5. Brandon Lemke finding a little more speed in the back section, especially coming out of the cell tower hairpin, which was Jarsocrak's hot spot yesterday. 2 kart lengths now away from Jarsocrak and Eves. Eves going to try and push him back forward again into the I-70 corner. No dive bomb for the 41. They're all trying to team up to make sure they keep Lemke in their sights. The battle for the win. Down the front straightaway, Jarsocrak just a little too far back still for a dive to turn number 1, but maybe one in turn number 3. 4 laps to go, and Lemke has Jarsocrak back on the bumper again. Too far back still for a move to the inside in turn number 3. Let's see how he gets through turn 4. Still not as good as the number 01. The AMK Race Products Top Kart rolling through the rubber phenomenally here in Newcastle, which took a significant amount of grip down over the past few days. A lot more than many expected, especially compared to July and September of last season. Now, battle for 3rd. Alexander Kardashian and Braden Eves going at it. Eves going to hold Kardashian back, and that will unfortunately take away Jarsocrak's drafting partner. He's going to have to do this next lap and a half or so on his own before Eves can get back up to him. Jarsocrak luckily got a good run to the scoreboard turn. Takes a look over his shoulder. See, Eves is not there and will need to rely on his own engine power plant to catch Lemke. Out of the I-70 corner. Pretty close here for Jarsocrak. 1 kart length back down the front stretch. A big head of steam as he pulls up to Lemke's rear bumper to turn 1. No move there. Just 3 laps to go. Brandon Jarsocrak taking his time, making sure it's a clean but aggressive maneuver to try and attempt for the lead, so nothing too crazy. But 1 kart length back now and a half-second advantage back to Brayden Eves and Alexander Kardashian. Out of turn number 11, another good run for Jarsocrak, setting up turn number 13. Eves trying to close as well, not too well, but Jarsocrak, a good run, brings him still to just 1 kart length back from Lemke. He needs to get a good exit out of the I-70 hairpin. It looks like it's going to be decent. Eves and Kardashian got a good one as well. Down the front stretch, the double sticks in the air. 2 laps to go for Brandon Lemke. Here comes Brandon Jarsocrak to the bottom in turn 1. New leader, Brandon Jarsocrak to turn number 2. A 1 kart length advantage over Brandon Lemke. He waited and waited for the perfect opportunity, and he took it as soon as he had the option. Now Lemke to the bumper into turn number 5. Gets on him, leans on the rear end a little bit. No move yet, and Eves and Kardashian all bottleneck up behind Jarsocrak into the cell tower hairpin. Out of turn number 8 here, Lemke looking pretty strong as they go for turns 9 and 10. Jarsocrak by 1 kart length enters the green corner, a kart and a half now ahead. A 4 kart battle to the finish, coming to see the white flag this time by 1.5 kart lengths from Brandon Jarsocrak back to Brandon Lemke. As they head down the back stretch here, Lemke with a good run will close back up. All 4 leaders, nose to tail in KartSport North America Pro IAME Senior. Lemke with a dive to the lead. He'll go to the inside in turn 16. Brandon Lemke to the top spot. Jarsocrak back to the bottom. Brayden Eves got to push him through. Move Brayden Eves to P2. Lemke down to P3. Jarsocrak your leader again. Through turn 2, Eves has an option, almost makes a move in turn 3, makes a little bobble though as they go for 4, and Jarsocrak's lead, a kart length and a half as Lemke goes to work on Eves. Eves gonna block from Lemke after Lemke gives him a shove into turn number 5. Through turn 6 and 7, Brandon Jarsocrak half a kart length ahead from Eves. Eves throws it in deep to the hairpin, and now still blocking Lemke. Lemke with help on the inside, can't get there. Jarsocrak 2 kart lengths ahead of Brayden Eves now. Brandon Jarsocrak on his way to potentially getting 2 in a row. Brayden Eves 3 karts back into the scoreboard hairpin, needing Lemke to push him forward. As he tries to get some more help, he'll block all the way to the bottom for second, and that might just do it for Jarsocrak. Eves trying to hold on, Lemke crosses him up. Kardashian will push Lemke on through, but they're all too far back. A sweep of the weekend in order for Brandon Jarsocrak. He wins in KartSport North America Pro IAME Senior. Problems for Brayden Eves. He drives right off the racetrack over in turn number 1. Don't know what that was for in the 41, but he's able to keep it going. Brandon Lemke ends up second. Alexander Kardashian ends up third, barely by 5 thousandths. Alexander Kardashian ends up fourth. Lemke P3. I think Eves was just trying to make sure he made it to the line full speed and held on to second. But a double win here this weekend for Brandon Jarsocrak. Brayden Eves P2, Brandon Lemke P3, and I believe that might have been more of a points move than anything else. Again, these drivers not only competing for the WKA Manufacturers Cup Series championship at the end of the season, but for all IAME classes, especially a big prize on the line for the Bridgestone midseason shootout, counting points from rounds 2, 3, and 4, this being the halfway point in that championship as well. The best 5 of 6 results count in your points towards potentially getting a ticket to the Rock International Final, fully paid with entry, tires, everything you need, minus your travel to compete on Team USA at the Rock International Final. That'll be given to all IAME class champions of the Bridgestone midseason shootout, and that's something where Lemke was positioned pretty well after his win in Pittsburgh on day number 1. in the dry, and so that might have been the reason I can think of for Eves trying to defend as hard as he did on the final lap, because that definitely sacrificed the opportunity for both of them to try and challenge Brandon Jarsocrak for the win. Regardless, a hard-fought and well-deserved victory for Jarsocrak, and that does wrap up our action on the racetrack and online on eKartingNews.com's radio network and EKN's trackside live coverage of the 2017 WKA Manufacturers Cup Series presented by Bridgestone. My name's Xander Clements with the World Karting Association. It's been a pleasure, as always, to get to call the action. We hope to have you tuning in with us for the WKA in about a month's time at the end of August when we go to the Wolf Paving Raceway in Wisconsin. But remember, the EKN Trackside Live Tour continues in just 2 weeks back here in Newcastle with Tim Coyen, and he'll bring you more of the action right here on eKartingNews.com/live or through Race Monitor with our live audio streaming. With that, for everyone else in the paddock, for all of our WKA officials, and for myself and David Cole, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.